Now, President Emmanuel Macron of France arrives in New Delhi tonight on a 4-day visit that will also take him to Agra and Varanasi. President Macron and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold talks tomorrow and co-chair the inaugural summit of the International Solar Alliance on Sunday. A highlight of the visit will be a stepped-up Indo-French naval cooperation in the wider Indian Ocean region. Take a look at this next report. One is a consummate politician and a conservative at that, and the other a political novice and centrist. But Narendra Modi and the much younger Emmanuel Macron hit it off early on, with the French president giving the Indian premier a bear hug at the start of Modi's hastily arranged visit to Paris in June last year. It took place only 3 weeks after Macron's inauguration and barely 48 hours after President Donald Trump pulled the US out of Paris Climate Accord. But Modi's words were just the balm Macron needed.
साथ भी हैं और समझौते के बाद भी हम मिलकर के चलेंगे, मिलकर के करेंगे और भावी पीढ़ी को मिलकर के कुछ न कुछ तोहफा देकर के जाएंगे इस कमिटमेंट के साथ। और इस दिशा में हमने कई महत्वपूर्ण कदम उठाए हैं।
Macron was not one to disappoint either. Flanked by Modi, he reiterated France's commitment to strengthening defense and counter-terrorism cooperation with India.
Terrorism, is striking both our countries in different way, but we will continue to work in the field of defense cooperation, maritime security, intelligence as well, and by fighting the spread of terrorism on the internet as well. I am working for the G20 to deal with that matter, and will make a number of concrete decisions by the end of the year in the field. Lastly, I would like India to continue to stand by us in all forms of the fight against all forms of terrorism, and similarly France will stood by India.
This week it is Modi's turn to play host to Macron. The two will review India-France strategic partnership, which completes 2 decades this year, and co-chair the maiden International Solar Alliance Summit. Macron and Modi will discuss defense, maritime security, counter-terrorism, space, trade and investments, education and people-to-people ties. Civil nuclear energy will form another important agenda item. India and France will also sign an agreement recognizing each other's academic degrees in a bid to boost the number of Indian students studying in France. They will look to clinch a defense logistics pact whereby France will give Indian Navy access to the French bases in the Indian Ocean region, such as Reunion Island, Djibouti in the Horn of Africa, and Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. As France seeks to further integrate itself in the wider Indian Ocean region, a source says there is room for very strong bilateral cooperation between India and France. At the same time, France is not opposed to the idea of working in a multilateral format with India and other like-minded countries. It is Macron's first ever visit to India, so he will soak in the sights and sounds, including a boat ride with Prime Minister Modi on the banks of River Ganga at Varanasi. First Lady Bridget Macron and he will keep their date with the Taj Mahal too. Ramesh Ramachandran, WION. Right, joining me live from the WION newsroom is WION's senior editor, Surya Gangadharan. Good evening, Surya. Now, we know that the Indo-French strategic partnership is 2 decades old. They complete 20 years this year. Now, we know that after probably Russia, France is the only country with which India has the full spectrum of relations, be it defense, security, civil, nuclear, or even space. Now, how would you describe Macron's visit to India, and also what should one expect from it?
Well, you mentioned strategic ties, Ramesh. The fact is that today India is signing these strategic partnership agreements with so many countries,
Right.
So in that sense, how is this special with the kind that we have signed with France? Perhaps we signed with France much earlier when this concept was still new. But if you look at it, when you step back and look at both countries, they prize their political independence, they value their strategic autonomy, they follow foreign policies that are very independent. So in that sense, there is a kind of a meshing of the two sides, And we see France as a reliable partner in terms of high quality military equipment. It isn't cheap, but it's high quality. It's something the armed forces like. And obviously that will be on the agenda when President Macron begins his talks tomorrow.
All right, on that note, Surya Gangadharan, thank you so much for joining me on WION Dispatch.